Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. So, can we just start this off by asking you guys, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves and what year you graduated Delaware State University?
So, my name is Shayna, and I graduated from Del State in 2013.
Devon Morrison, I graduated in Del State in 2011.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you do for work and what was your major when you went to Delaware State?
Currently, I do forecasting and month-end planning for the small business card portfolio at Bank of America. When I went to Delaware State University, I majored in mass communications. Main concentration was public relations.
And I am in graphic designing, and mine was like real small compared to you. I do graphic designing, and I went to Del State, and my major was mass comm, but specifically TV production.
And following on with that, what made you choose to go to a HBCU like Delaware State University?
I actually didn't know what an HBCU was when I applied here. I only applied here, well, no, not I only, but I mainly accepted by coming here because Del State, they didn't make me do an essay.
I did the same thing.
They didn't make me do an essay, and because when I graduated high school, my GPA was like a 2.1, and I really didn't have the grades, and this was like one of the main schools that didn't want me to do like that summer, like you had to come here the summer before school started and like maintain a C average. I didn't want to do that. So TSU was just like, you don't have to, and I was like, okay, well, this is a place for me. But looking back, I'm happy that it was that easy because I'm really happy that I came here. So
I guess for me, I was a first-generation college student, so I really had no aspirations of going to college, to be completely honest. Delaware State accepted me June of actually 2005, and it was between Del State and Lincoln. And I took a trip up to Lincoln, and it was nothing but cornfields around Lincoln, so I really couldn't do it. But no, coming to Del State, it was great. I met a lot of teachers. I met a lot of great individuals to this day that I still connect with. And I don't know, it felt like a family. It's culture. Everyone's willing to help you. Everyone's willing to answer your questions, but they're also willing to hold you accountable as well.
Yeah. So talking about that, about you originally not even wanting to go to college and then you just going here because it was easy. That is the reality of a lot of students here on campus. That's the reality of me. And so what made you continue to stay here at Delaware State and find what you just said, a family and a love for being here?
More so because the alternative is going back home and where you fought so hard to leave.
hello.
And I mean, here you had so many individuals who thought outside the box. So many individuals that wanted to do things, wanted to try new things, whether it was different experiences like skydiving. I know a lot of individuals who went skydiving their freshman year. I didn't do it. It wasn't for me, but they were thinking outside the box. Compared to it back home, everyone was so close-minded. No one was open to change, and it just felt like very draining.
I would actually say that that's a big part too. I stayed here because it was different. It was different from what I was used to at home, and it was very refreshing because I felt like I was learning a lot outside of class as much as I was learning like inside of class, like, you know, our culture, what it means to be black, like just different people, like the fashion senses of like different like people. I always use people from DC because they like stood out to me the most. Like their fashion sense was like way different, or how they speak is like way different. And I was just really taken back by like everything that I was seeing, and everybody just think that their version of normal is like the normal. And like learning that just learning people and just being in a different environment was really refreshing. And I felt like that was like the first time in my life at that time that I felt like I can really like think for myself, try to like, what do I want, like for real, like what does Shayna want, not what is good for my household or what is good for this at this present moment, like what do I really want. And I could do that here. Like I can leave when I want, I can do what I want, I can go to a party when I want, I can we bored, we chilling at my friends like a room and stuff like that. Like I really was able to do whatever I wanted, and I never had that before, so I wasn't trying to go back home.
Adding on to that, do you think that feeling is something that you still feel today? Is that the reason why you're here today at the alumni house? Why you think people come back for homecoming, connect with their classes?
I mean, for me, it's a full circle. It's giving back to them individuals that took the time out to give back to me. And every alumni I talk to always say the biggest thing to do is to make sure you give back, whether it's financially or whether it's time, it's your presence, because it's always a lesson that you can teach another.
Yeah, I would say it is. Like, that's that feeling that you get, like, even coming here today, like, because I live in Jersey, I'm not here too often, but when I do come back, like, sometimes it'll be just, like, memories, or I'll think of something, and or the fact that they took down Laws Hall. I'm still not over that. Like, they didn't even ask me. Nobody asked me permission
You
to
don't
do
like
that.
the upgrade?
No, I'm just joking. No, but no, just being back here and seeing different things, or like seeing old friends, and just like life can like just take you somewhere, and then like you finally get a moment to come back here and like remember like what you was doing with your friends, or like what classes was hard, or like, oh yeah, that was challenging and I overcame it. At that time I didn't think I could, but like obviously, because I'm here now. So it is a really good feeling coming back. It is like coming back home. Like, I love it.
Let's reminisce a bit. Can you tell me one of your most happiest moments here at Delaware State University?
Honestly, when Delaware State University first spring homecoming, that was a different experience unlike any other, because you had the same energy as regular homecoming, but it was warm. It was warm, and it was just a vibe in itself.
I would say two things that I do remember. Because I never knew what like an HBCU was and stuff like that, so everything that I saw was like a first for me. So my first homecoming, I remember going to the step show, and like it wasn't like an outer body experience, but it was just like a surreal, like, yo, this is crazy, like what is going on? Like everybody, like all the fraternities, sororities are doing their like calls and stuff like that. It's loud, it's just black people having fun, and I was just like, this is crazy. And then it was another time where they had a mail auction in the mail auction, and I was just like, this had to be approved by somebody. Like somebody was in the office and was just like, yeah, we're doing this. Like, for real? Like, and it was just different. I was just like, yo, what you can really not do what you want, but like it's so different from what I'm used to and what I'm expecting. I just felt like anything was possible.
Yeah.
Leading into that anything is possible, I know that you wrote a book on an experience like coming to Delaware State University. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I wrote a comic book, I produced it, and I launched it in February. It's called Hamer University. Go get it, everybody, Hamer University. And it's basically about a quirky girl. She goes to a HBCU for the first time, and it's like her journey. And it does kind of mirror me in a sense, like the main character, like really shy, introverted and stuff like that. And like her reactions to things is just like, back up, I don't know what you're doing, back up away from me. So like it's like somewhat like that, but I feel like what might be different from this book with my actual experiences, I don't really think I did too much. Like I loved my 4 years here, but I don't think I experienced everything how I could have, because I was focused on certain things and I wouldn't let myself focus on other things. So I didn't like really have fun too much because I was introverted. I didn't speak, and that was one thing that I didn't know that would come back and haunt me, is like networking. I did not really network. I was just like in my bubble. I was under the assumption that like if you get good grades and you show up to class and stuff like that, you're gonna get a degree and you're gonna get a job. Networking, I was like, I don't really have to do that, and you do. Like, you really do. So I feel like this is gonna be like an opportunity to kind of like just tell a story, or like maybe I can like live through this. Like what if I knew what I knew now, what kind of Shayna would I be? So I'm gonna like put that in a sense in my book. So,
And talking about what would you know now, what would you do with that? What advice would you give students currently about their?
I would say my biggest two things is networking and truly knowing who you are. Like, I feel like college, wherever, HBCU, whatever you go to, you at least have to know who you are so you don't fall for stuff that you don't want. Like, there's this app that I use now, it's called Breeze, and it gives you like different personality tests, like childhood trauma tests, different just things that help you understand your overall makeup. And that can teach you your strengths, it can teach you your weaknesses, it can teach you, you know, what your hobbies are. So when you go to these places and they ask you, okay, well, what do you do in your spare time? You're not just, I'll scroll on TikTok or something like that. Like, you have an understanding of yourself, so can't nobody tell you who you are. So I would say, if I knew what I knew now, I would have definitely figured out who I was before I, like, tried to do anything.
Amazing. And for you, I want to ask you the same question. What advice would you give students who are currently attending Delaware State University?
I think for me, it would be focused on the soft skills. There's a lot of soft skills that go along with whatever work industry you decide to go into that you're just not ultimately taught in college. Whether it's just how to talk, how you carry yourself, or just how your mannerisms are walking down a hallway, or having conversations and lowering your voice, talking on speaker. You'd be surprised how many college students that get hired and they just don't know how to carry themselves in a corporate manner. So soft skills would definitely be at the top of the list. But I would also say, to your point, find yourself. Sometimes being an introvert or being stuck in your way, you can get stuck and you don't change. And you have to come to a point in understanding that change is uncomfortable. And in order to change, you must be willing to do that. So,
adding on to the change, do you feel like you've changed since starting your time here at Delaware State University?
I feel like I've changed. I've grown. I understood different concepts. And, it's just a part of life. But the one thing I did notice is that through my experiences, it made my daughter coming here even better. My daughter's a sophomore, and she's 100% better than I was. She's more determined, she's more hungry, and not only is she focused on the exterior, going out, having fun, she focused on the interior, going to class, doing what she has to do. I still don't know how she managed to do 19 credits a semester, but she does it with a smile on her face and without dropping anything by the wayside. So, if anything, all my wants that I wanted for myself has transferred to her.
So talking about that, creating a legacy, do you feel like that's a big thing at an HBCU in general, but at Delaware State even more?
Yes. Building a legacy at an HBCU is crucial because honestly, sometimes you don't learn your true history until coming here. Like, there's so much stuff I didn't learn in high school that when I took one African American studies class, I was so surprised and amazed. Learning about your own culture, and then to the point of legacy, coming to Del State and wanting your own children to come here, it just helps complete the cycle. There's so many lessons, there's so much information that's just not shared in regular public education. So coming to a HBCU helps you get back to your roots, helps you understand who you are, and helps you understand your part. And I think that's a big journey of learning who you are as well, learning your history and where you come from.
I would say to say off the check-in, of course I feel like I've grown since, being here. I know my mindset has grown a lot. And I would say, pouring back into this institution specifically, I would say you should, the places or people that poured into you, why not pour back into that so it can just manifest and become something greater for your kids and your neighbors' kids, and just continuing this. It didn't happen overnight. We need the community of people to help, and what better community than the people that went here. Yeah. So I would say that my daughter, I would love for my daughter to go to DSU, If she don't, I mean, I guess she likes being second best, but she, you know, I would love for her to come here. But yeah, I do think it's important to make sure that you pour back into places that you came from.
Yeah.
So let's lean a little bit into the career side. So you both were mass communication majors. One of you kind of are more so in the mass communication field, and one of you took more of the corporate route. Do you think that your experiences being in that major at Delaware State influenced that?
So I would say yes. But I did actually take a hiatus from, like, I was a medical assistant for a minute. So I would say that coming here and learning about myself and learning what I want to do, even though I took that hiatus, it made me realize that that's not what I want. And if I didn't have the experience from Del State, I might have just like tried to be in the medical field and just like figure it out. And then like I'm old and I'm realizing I didn't even want to do any of this. So yeah, I would say being in mass comm or being at Del State helped me figure out what I wanted to do, because you can go through so many different majors and you can try to find yourself.
I think for myself, mass communication helps me communicate at a corporate level. Mass comm, it taught you to deal with all individuals, from presidents to deans to teachers, advisors to even students. Translating that over to corporate, you're able to cater the message to either an executive you're speaking to or a regular frontline manager. So from that aspect, it really helped me articulate myself, but also being able to read the room a bit too. In mass communications, you're looking at the details, but the details you're looking is the individuals around you. So being able to pick up certain vibes, being able to understand if you're losing the attention of the room and how to regain that, is vital, especially in the corporate American space.
That's a really amazing way of thinking about it. I just want to piggyback off of that. Did you go into that major thinking that is the way you were going to use your major?
No, honestly. I had my second daughter my beginning of my senior year. So that kind of prevented me from pursuing any mass comm roles due to the ability of not being able to travel 100%. So the next best thing is trying to find interchangeable skills that I took from mass comm and applied them to other fields. So corporate America wasn't my first industry. My first industry was actually sales. So it helped with having that conversation. And then from that conversation, as I grew and went into corporate America, it just made it a lot easier.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your current jobs?
I mean, graphic designing. I do like flyers. For the most part, I'm trying to even further transition from graphic designing to just content creating, especially with my comic book and stuff like that. So I would say, yeah, that's kind of where it took me.
And have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I learned recently that I liked graphic designing because, like, when I was here for TV production, so they taught me how to like film, a little bit of editing and stuff like that. So I never knew what graphic designing was. Like I didn't know that it can be done in such a wide variety of different things considered graphic designing. So this is actually a pretty new venture for me, and I'm just trying to see where it goes. I love graphic designing now. I've noticed that. So I'm just actually trying to see where this goes.
I love that. What about you?
I would say for myself, I'm in the world of finance. So forecasting is basically doing an estimate of how you think your product will end at the end of the month. So from that aspect, it's very detailed. You use a lot of our actuals, and you pay attention to the market. As you know, a few days ago, we recently received the Fed cut, so that's also, we take that in very big consideration when we're planning that forecast. Some of these forecasts can potentially look out for the next 3 to 5 years. So it just ultimately provides the bank some assurance and basically measures the potential performance of what a product may do.
And what struggles did you guys face when coming into your guys' careers?
I would say for me, finding a job in TV production is really hard, especially going directly against my introvertedness. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. And if you don't speak to people, then you don't know anybody. So I would say coming out of college, like I felt a lot of feeling like, I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not skilled enough, or like I was getting jobs, but it was like one job and it was paying like not that much money, and they wanted me to go to West Bubble to shoot something, or like I got scammed a couple times trying to follow a dream and stuff like that. So I would say like the world is cruel. Like the world can be cruel. And entertainment, the entertainment business is like really cutthroat. So you have to have like a thick skin. You have to know what you want. You have to know who you are, and you have to network. And I didn't know that at the time. I was so naive in a lot of ways. So that really, it hindered me for a while, to where it like kind of changed the trajectory of my life. Like I kind of wanted to just be house mom. I was gonna be a medical assistant, get a check, move out my parents' house, and just be normal, be whatever normal I thought it was. But that was kind of bothering me, and I wanted to at least try again. Like I had to try again in doing TV production, and now that I know what I know, it's working out for me way better than when I first got out of college.
For myself, it was overcoming imposter syndrome. Going into corporate America and not having that traditional finance or business degree in your back pocket can weigh heavy on your confidence, especially when you're behind the ball when trying to learn some of these big terminologies, or some of these finance terminologies that you have no idea what they mean. So for that, I had to find some good mentors, find some individuals who, what I like to call, are willing to provide uncensored feedback. And it also took me to actually listen to that feedback and not always have a response. And I think sometimes that was us being human. That's what we at times fail to do. We always want to say or try to fully articulate and explain what we mean, when sometimes the best lesson is just to listen to the feedback, internalize it, and then just take what you can from it and make it the best for you.
So as a young adult, I definitely go through the struggles. So it's really great to hear that you guys go through them too.
Yeah, everyone.
Yes.
And I just want to say, what gets you out of the struggles? Because sometimes it be hard for me.
Your mentality, to me. You can be your worst critic. You could be your best friend and your worst critic.
Yeah.
Like if you tell yourself to get out of bed and you're gonna do X, Y, and Z, you're gonna do it. Like you're literally stopping yourself.
Yeah.
And easier said than done. Like, we stop ourselves doing stuff daily. But sometimes if you take control a little bit, like, you know what, I don't feel like doing it, but I am gonna get up and do it because it might work out for me. And you never know. Like me specifically, like times where I'm just like, I really don't want to do, let me just go. I'll go and do something, and something weird will happen. Like I'll meet somebody that will have a connection here, or I'll do something that turns my life in another direction. So you never know. Just you struggling, everybody struggle. It's okay. Allow yourself time to cry. If feel how you're feeling, get through it, but just know that you gotta get up. Like you can't just sit there.
Yeah, I would utter the same. Life is life. It's always going to be hard, and no one's ultimately going to come save you. So you got to figure out ways to save yourself. And that's, for one, holding yourself accountable, but making a plan that's based off you. Your parents can only tell you so much. Your friends can only tell you so much. And at the end of the day, unless you really want something, it's not going to happen because you're not 100% in it. So first, I would say make a plan. Make certain steps. I know it's also considered discipline, but make steps around discipline. So if there's certain things that you want to accomplish, 3-4 step plan. And allow yourself some grace. You made it this far when a lot of individuals are still back home, stuck.
So you guys obviously allowed yourself a lot of grace. And so I want to give y'all a chance to celebrate yourselves. So what is the biggest accomplishment in your work field, but also in your life?
Well, my biggest accomplishment in my work field is coming up with my comic book. I would never thought I would have done that. So producing it, well, writing it, producing it, and then having enough courage to like talk to people and try to sell it and, you know, listen to people or have people like give me compliments, because that's even hard for me sometimes too. I would say that's one of my biggest accomplishments. Like, that's like, okay, Shayna, you got that. My second one was my daughter. She's one of my biggest accomplishments. She's actually part of the reason why I even started TV production again, or like, you know, she put like a spark in my life again. So she's like a really big accomplishment. I love her. Love her down.
My biggest work accomplishment would be is my ability to mentor. There's so many individuals, regardless of race, that going through so many problems that I first faced when I started corporate America. So just being able to pull them aside, give them certain tips, certain literature to read, or just even give them that pep talk to get them out their own way. Because as we all know, when our emotions are down, we can kill our tenacity, we can kill our drive. My biggest accomplishment in life, of course, my children, but I would say just being able to come back to Delaware State University and get back, to drop gems, be able to do what others did for me.
And I thank you for that, because I thank you for this experience. I thank you for guys being here today. And I'm really thankful for this opportunity.
Problem.